So now we're going to start on the gearboxes. Now it's important with the gearboxes to make sure you only open the bag when you're ready to go, because the parts in here have the habit of walking.
Are we actually going to build a gearbox?
We are going to build a complete gearbox.
Woo!
Make sure that you keep all the gear parts in the bag together until you're ready to do it. We've had a lot of teams in the past lose little parts when they've gone to assemble it because they've all opened it up at the beginning and they've lost little parts. So we're ready to go now. So we start off, here's your gear housing, your actual gears, your bearings, grease satchel and various bolts and C-clips. These parts here are for the motors. We'll come back to those in a minute. And then here are your axles. So we're going to start by putting the two small bearings into the two vertically aligned holes in your gearbox. So do you want to go ahead and do that, Jet? While I open up this packet.
The vertically aligned, meaning this way, not that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just put it down on the ground though, because the camera can't see it.
Okay, they snap right in.
They snap right in.
No tools required.
No tools required.
Oh, I can do that. See, that one's not quite flush. There we go.
Yeah.
Snap, it even gives you a sound to tell you you finished it.
Now, the axles. Make sure you align the gearbox correctly, as there's two orientations to it. So we're going to align it like this.
Now how do we know which side is up and which side is down?
So I call it the short side and the long side, and we measure from the fins. So if you look at the short side, it has the shortest distance from the top fin up, and the long side's got the longest distance from the bottom fins. So you take your small axle and you push it into the top bearing, which is where the short side is.
You just push it right in.
Just push it right in until it sits on that little hex groove.
It's a little bit of a pressure, but it goes in pretty easily.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now what we're going to do is going to add one of the large cogs. This is the 48 tooth gear.
48 tooth. Okay. So put it right on top of the axle.
Be careful with this step, because there's a flat side and a bumped side. Put the bumped side down.
Okay, so this side is smooth or flat, and their side has a little bump on it. Okay.
Yep. Now the reason for this is, we're now going to drop not the smaller size, but the next size up. We're going to now put that down on top of that. So there'll be two identical smalls with little cuts in them. They're for the motors. So you put those to the side with all those washers that we saw before.
Stuff.
Okay, the next step involves our axle. So just put your gear to the side. Now you've got to take your little C-clip, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky. You need to push the C-clip onto your axle.
Let me do it. So if I can do it, they can do it.
So you might find turning it over and pushing it down on the table will help.
Okay.
You could also maybe try using pliers or a C-clip tool if you happen to have one. So you just push it down to it clips over.
Click. There we go. Beautiful.
Right. Oh, not quite. Yep.
There we go. Is that?
Yep, perfect. So it should just be stuck into the groove so it can't wobble at all. Now, bring your gearbox back, and this axle part here will recess into the bottom bearing.
Okay. So
You push it down like you did with the other axle.
it just snaps right in. Okay. So it sticks out a little bit.
Yep. And this part here is where, if you have an encoder, you can put an encoder onto that little part.
And you'll explain what an encoder is?
We'll explain that later, yep.
Okay.
Now, you'll notice now that it might pop out a few times. That's okay, because it spins freely. Now what you want to do is you want to bring down your large gear and make sure it meshes. And we've put the groove side up here.
So the first one, if the groove side is down. Second one, the groove side is up.
Because it will sit flush on your little C-clip that you put in earlier. Right.
And just so you guys know, we do have the instruction booklet, the user guide to follow step by step.
Okay. The final step is the messy step, and you want to make sure you have some tissues on standing by, and you don't want to do this on a table that's meant to be kept clean. So often we do this outside on the ground or on a park bench or something like that if we're in the remote areas. So in this case, we're going to do it on the little plastic bag here that the kit came in. And you'll tear, there's little grooves here, you tear off where the little protrusion is, and then you squeeze the entire packet around, make sure all the gears are lubricated. The bottom one, the small one, and the top one all need to be completely lubricated. And often you can just stick in the center and spin it around and it will mix it up.
Ooh, I want to do this.
You want to do this?
Oh, yeah.
You want to play with the goo?
Yeah, I do want to play with it. I like playing with the goo. So should I be spinning it as I do it?
Best to apply it down in the
There's holes down there.
on the grooves here, and so as we turn it around, it will get stuck on there.
In those grooves there, you mean?
Yeah, just like that. And so you see how we spin it around, applies it to each of the teeth.
Yeah, I'll use my finger here. I'm gonna get all gooey here. That's great.
And then make sure the bottom teeth are also lubricated, because that's where the motor gears will come in.
Okay, why don't you show me how to do that part? Because
All right.
there's only not much left. Ooh, look at that.
So what you can often do is just squirt it in the side here, and just spin it as you squirt.
Let me spin that for you.
Yep. And it will apply, and you can just get your finger to the hole and just make sure you rub it on it all.
So basically, you want every tooth lubricated.
Every tooth lubricated. Now it's also important to make sure when you're doing this not to get foreign objects like little shards or offcuts of metal stuck in the gears, because it will make a clicking noise and can damage the gears if the piece is too large. Now this is non-toxic, this stuff, but it's a very good idea to either wear gloves or wash your hands immediately after it. So we're now going to run off and go wash our hands.